I don't know what happened, but as soon as I said that, there's over 100 people in the queue. It must have been I think my computer was lagging behind. So we do have a great turnout. Good. Welcome, one and all, amazing agents from across the country. Today is March 22nd, 2018, and this is Mastermind call number 169. We have 3 of the 4 partners on the call today. Our partner, Tim, is at a country music festival. If you're in Central Florida and you hear a dog howling in the background, that's probably him singing along to the music. So he won't be here today. Chad is on the road, but he's on the way up to the mountains of Sedona to go meditate up there in that beautiful country. And Tom and I are still working. So 2 out of the 4 of us are working, but 3 of us are on the call. Boy, great participation, guys. We have 4 in the queue already. And just the last reminder, if you would like to actively participate, just hit *6 and then hit 1, and we will take your questions one at a time. Chad was mentioning we went an hour and 20 minutes last week. We'll never let a question go unanswered. However, we do want to respect your time. We really want to try to keep these calls to an hour if we can. And we've said before, if you have some bizarre circumstance that's really a one-off that probably nobody else could benefit from, just send us an email and we can discuss that with you personally. But anything else, questions, challenges, especially wins, we love wins, anything we can help you with, we are here. Chad, anything before we get started, anything you want to share with the group?
So for everybody who is waiting on mastery, it's not looking like we're going to have a March class. I'll do it in early to mid-April. I just haven't been able to get it done. We're doing a lot of software development and things that have just kind of prohibited me from doing that. So I will look for, in the first half of April, the Probate Mastery course for the next course. If you are waiting and you want to go ahead and get started, I can send you the recordings from February, and then I'll register you for the live classes as soon as I have them scheduled. That's all I have for today.
All right, perfect. And I always like to add, mastery is nothing you have to get started, but we find looking at our numbers that agents that take mastery are much more confident. They've got a deeper dive into the knowledge behind the scenes in probate, and they tend to do a lot better, and they tend to last a lot longer. So I always tell agents it's okay to get your feet wet, get started, reach out to the executors, but sometime in your first few months, schedule that time to take the mastery course with Chad. And if you've taken it before, you're an alumni, you can come back as often as you want every month, and, there's no charge to keep coming back. Tom, anything you want to share with the group?
Oh, probably just my normal. Just remind everybody that, we're here to help. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can just send us an email at support@alltheleads.com, or if you're in your account, just go to the support area and contact us. Just be specific on what you're looking for, and then we assign those tickets to the appropriate people to get back to you. So please reach out to us. That's it.
Yep, we have. Perfect. Yeah, we have 4 partners, and I think we have a dozen employees now, and everybody reads those support tickets, and just be real specific about what you need help with. Our response time is less than 15 minutes, and the more specific you are, the more helpful it is to make sure we get, what you need help with to the correct person. So having said that, I am excited. I hardly had to beg, and we've got 7 people in the queue. So let's start off with our first caller, phone number ending in 7653. You're up first.
Hi, my name is Darcy. I just recently started your program. I got my first 38 leads, and I called them all. It was a very horrible experience with them all. They all hung up on me and said, they have attorneys and blah, blah, blah. And then I called them back, and I said, look, I'm not, I'm here to help you if you need my help. I felt like a cleaning service or something. I think, I said, no. I said, I specialize in probate, and I'm here to help the families if they need help with cleaning out their house or blah, blah, blah. And I went through the whole spiel, and they said, well, we have an attorney. I says, I understand that, but a lot of times attorneys just take it to a certain point, and they don't go into the services that I provide. I was going into that.
Sure.
And then a couple said, well, my father's been dead for a year. And I said, oh, really? And you're still in probate? He said, well, we had to reopen it for whatever reason. A couple of them said, the kids are taking the house. I said, okay, fine. But do you need anything else that I could maybe help you with? But they were all nasty. They were just mean. And I said, I don't know if I really want to do this probate stuff. And so then I called a couple of attorneys, and then I decided to schedule appointments with attorneys so I can talk about a will personally. And I figured that's how I'll get my foot in the door. So I have 3 appointments with 3 attorneys for a will for me. And
Great.
then this way, then I can lead into, blah, blah, blah. And that was it.
Well, we'll let our coach Chad talk you down off the ledge. So, the downside, and believe me, it's not the first or the 10th time that we've heard this, and eventually you'll get some success. Now, the downside, you're only getting 38 leads, so you're going to have to milk as much as you can out of them. But the upside is, you will get some business. And Chad, any coaching or any comments based on her initial experience? Anything? What would you like to share with her?
Well, and I think we probably all start out to an extent this way, Darcy. Like, I fell on my face a bunch of times before I figured out what to say. And have you listened to many of our role play calls?
Yeah, I listened to a couple of them, but
okay.
I don't know if they're getting the point. They're missing the point, I think. They're, I'm trying to tell them I'm not after your house per se.
Yeah.
I'm telling them, if you need help with your furniture, moving, blah, 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 grass. But I feel like maybe I should start out with that I am a realtor, I said I read a letter a script from you guys, and I tweaked it, and I was reading that, like a script, and
are you willing to role play with us?
Yeah.
Okay, give me a call.
Give you a call? What do you mean, give you a call?
I want to hear how you open the conversation.
Okay, I said.
Ring. Make it like a regular conversation. Ring.
Hello, it's Chad.
Wait, you're the executor?
Yeah.
Yes.
But they don't say this is Chad. They say hello, and I go, hi.
Hello.
Is this Marcia? Yes, it is. Oh, okay. Hi, Marcia. I'm glad I caught you. I was calling. Did you receive my letter that I sent out last week? Now, all of them said no. And then I was wondering if they even got the letter. And I said, oh, you didn't receive my letter? No. Mean. They're mean now. They're not nice. And I said, well, I sent a letter out to you last week, and I just wanted to let you know that I have a service that I'm helping people that are going through probate. And I said, in my service includes, I know it's a rough time for you, and my service includes if you need help with your house, cleaning out your house, or I said repairs on your house. And by the way, I am a realtor, but I decided to focus my energy towards helping people that are going through probate, because I know it's such a rough time, because I've experienced it myself. And they said, well, the kids got the house. I said, oh, the kids got the house? Yeah. I said, oh, that's great. And then another one said, I have an attorney that's going to handle that. And then they hung up on me. And then I called them back. And I said, oh, did we get disconnected? No. And I said, oh, well, I didn't finish what I was saying. I was trying to tell you that I'm here to help you if you need anything. That's helping with the house, the grass, the repairs. no, I'm sorry, but I don't need your help. Okay. And then they hung up on me. So I went through this with every call. And then I said, the heck with this. This is worse than the expired.
Chad, go ahead. Let Chad help you.
This might not be easy to hear, but because you're getting the same result from everyone, the problem is probably you. And you've got all the pieces. Like you were hitting good points. They're just really scattered, to be frank. So that's what I think. If you listen to a couple of role play calls, what I learned when I was stammering around and not doing very well at this, I was scattered and I wasn't real structured. And what we teach on the probate seller interview sheet, the very first step is get your probate USB, and that really consists of who you are, how you got their information, why you're calling, and then ask them an emotional question. And even if they try to interrupt you, you just plow through it. Like if they're abrasive, just keep plowing through and keep control of your conversation. And where I see most people struggle, like to get the result that you're getting, is they leave dead space in the conversation. So you'll say one thing and then you'll think and leave some silence, and that gives them the chance to shut you down. But I find if you just kind of power through that and they get that feel, like if you're excited about what you're saying and you're offering, then it's a whole, like once you get it all out, they kind of process that for a few seconds and then they dump the story on you. So I don't want you to quit. I mean, it sounds like you got into this for the right reasons. I think you just need to just clean your language up a little bit. And, hey, this is Darcy. I sent you a letter. Do you remember seeing that? No worries. Listen, even better, you got me on the phone. I won't keep you long. I just called because I had a few minutes at my desk and I wanted to follow up. The reason for the call, we actually have built a team of professionals here locally. We help families through probate. So almost any situation that you guys could be going through, kind of think of our service as a bridge between what the attorney is going to do and what you have to do, which is probably 90% of it, right? So what's been the toughest thing for you guys so far?
But you know what? One said, "How did you get my number?" And then I got stuck. I said, that's a good question. I said, well, we go to the courthouse on Tuesdays. Yes, but my phone number is, and my attorney, I called my attorney and they said they did not give out my number. And then I didn't know what to say.
My assistant got it. She does something on the internet. I don't know where she gets it, but she's really good at finding people. So if your phone number is anywhere on the internet, that's how we got it.
Oh, okay. Because then I didn't know what to say, so I just...
And then Darcy, and if you need some private, role play time, or come on our weekly mastermind call, because believe me, you're not the first that's experienced this. It's just getting more comfortable and having the conversation flow better. As far as one thing you said there is my attorney's handling it. That's the most common objection we hear from people that just don't want to talk anymore. They don't want to be sold. And you can shut them down in 10 seconds if you say, okay, great, your attorney's handling it. So your attorney already switched your insurance, and just shut up. And nobody, and say, oh, they didn't. Well, what do you mean? Well, if the property's been sitting empty for more than 30 days, your insurance probably is not in effect. So you need to contact your lender and let them know that, switch it to a vacant house policy. You got to show them right away that you provide value and that you're a little bit different than all the other agents. And I think it's just a matter of getting your confidence. And I wouldn't be afraid. I wouldn't be afraid to wait a week and try to call these same people again, and listen to a couple of the role plays where Chad has role played it, and like he said, get out the answers to the questions they're going to ask you. Answer them up front. Was doing my research. I went down to the courthouse. I got this data, and here's why I'm reaching out to you. So you kind of answer their questions before they have a chance to interrupt you with them.
And then, you know what, not to interrupt you, but the first lady that called said, oh, yeah, I have a lot, a parcel. And I said, oh, great, I can help you with that. And, I looked it up and all that. And she goes, oh, good. Can you call my son? And I go, yeah, I'll call him. So she gave me his number. This was the only nice lady. So then I called the son, and he said, well, I already got somebody. I go, you got somebody to list your lot, your mom's lot? Yes, yeah. And I promised her. And I said,
Okay.
oh. I said, okay, then, whatever I said. And I said, okay, bye-bye. Because I don't want to push it, with him, with the son, because he's already got somebody. So why push it? Then it's going to sound like I'm desperate and I need that lot.
I think we have 6 more people in the queue, and I don't want to cut you off, but I know, Chad, you wouldn't. No. Let us answer that question for you, and then if you need some private time, just call us back, and we'll do some one-on-one coaching with you. But Chad, I know you wouldn't quit if they said I already have somebody. How would you respond to that?
No, I mean, my response to that is always, that's great. When do you plan to meet with them? Okay, great. Well, listen, I think it's really smart of you to meet with multiple agents to make sure, one, you're getting the most amount of money for the property, but 2, that you're getting the service you need. So a lot of our clients don't know what they don't know. So we end up helping with insurance. We end up helping with reinvesting the proceeds. And there's a lot of things that probably haven't occurred to you yet. And frankly, most real estate agents don't really offer that kind of service. They're really good at sales and marketing. But we're more, we look at the overall situation and what your goals are and then give you options. And that includes before, during, and after the sale of any real estate. Our service is much bigger than real estate. So worst case scenario, I'm going to do a couple hours of homework and you get a professional opinion for free. So I got one spot on Friday at 3. Do you want it or not? So I'd try to get in after the competition. And if he knows he's going to meet with me, he's not likely to sign a listing agreement. Or if I have good rapport, I'll go ahead and ask him for a commitment not to sign a listing agreement until he meets with me. And then you get the listing 99% of the time because they realize after they've met with a typical agent and then they meet with you and you talk about their whole situation and show them ways to reinvest the money and, lots of different things that we offer. They're far more impressed than they were with the competition.
Darcy, we have your before story. Send us an email. We'll work with you one-on-one, and so you're going to make a great after story when you start taking listings in a month or 2. But thank you for being brave enough to step up. Not everybody is confident. Well, all right. Next up in the queue is phone number ending in 1776. You're up next.
I actually don't have a question at this point in time. I have not signed up for the service yet, and am listening in just to kind of get a better feel for what it's all about.
Very good, sir. And you know the number to call when you're ready. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Phone number ending in 4110. You're up next.
Yeah, I'm how you doing? I'm kind of in the same boat as the other gentleman was. I mean, I'm just signing in. I had did my my course through MTI, and actually it's the same number, but when I called, it came up because I have it in my phone. I said, wait a minute, this can't be the same place. But then when I put the phone in, I realized it's different. I'm like, oh, man, okay. But anyway, what the lady was saying, what she was saying before, well, one thing, I'm in New York, so, yes, attorneys do have a lot of power. But the thing about it, the attorneys are not real estate agents. They're not brokers. So the attorneys are not going to give you, they're not going to give you the same service, okay, because if they do, you're going to be billed by the hour. And that's a service she can provide to any client that an attorney will not be able to provide, or if they do, they're going to send it out anyway. And not only that, what she should also ask the client is that if the attorney has given you an agent, is that agent qualified to do, these things and run down the list? Okay, that way.
Yeah, great points. Thank you for sharing. And we have agents that do extremely well with the attorneys. It seems like the most effective thing is to get face-to-face with them and let them know that, they're billing. It's a flat fee usually. It's not hourly, so they're not looking to bill a lot of hours. They're looking to get this closed off their plate. Yeah. If you can convince them, if you just let the attorney know, I'll handle all the non-related stuff, not legal related stuff. The personal property, the repairs, finding a buyer, getting it sold, and free you up to do what you're good at. You got a friend there. The executor is good for a deal or 2. The attorney can be good for a career worth of referrals. So that's great.
And my And my main reason for dialing in, but she gave her story, it kind of made me think about it. But my main reason for dialing in was that where I'm at in New York, I'll be honest, I tried to use probate data, but probate data has nothing where I'm at here. So I had called the lead service, and I was wondering, in my part of New York State, do they have any leads here? Because I'm finding it, kind of difficult to find any data for this part of the state that I'm in, other than me going down to the courthouse myself.
Yeah. Now the difference is there's a dozen companies that have either inherited properties or quote unquote probate leads, but they are almost without exception. We're the only national company I know of that has a complete system, and we actually go down to the courthouse. Most of the companies, what they're trying to do, they're trying to scan the tax rolls and get what they can online. And the online information is fragmented. It's incomplete. It's just not, even in counties where the data is available online, we still go down to the courthouse. We get a lot more leads. We get a lot more complete information, and we supplement it with really good phone numbers that nobody else supplies. So, and we give you a system, for turning the leads into listings. Send me an email, jim@alltheleads.com, and I'll get right back to you and let you know what the lead count is on your county. But I promise we're getting a substantial number there. What county do you do business in?
I'm looking for, Dutchess County, Orange County, Ulster County.
Oh,
those
yeah.
are the three counties around me.
Yeah, we have all three of them, and we have substantial lead count. Send me an email with that, and I'll reply with the lead count for all three of them for you. Okay.
All right, appreciate the time, and good luck to the lady that was on first. Good luck.
Thank you for your encouragement. Okay. Next up is phone number ending in 6650. You're up next.
Thank you. This is Kay from Virginia.
Hi, Kay.
Hi. I have a number of leads that have a personal representative and a attorney, and the personal representative's address is the same as the attorney's address. They're usually different people. But I was wondering how to handle those, because I have had one call me back and say, I'm not the personal representative, I'm the attorney.
Okay. So it's typically it means that they're a public administrator. So for some reason the court has appointed a public administrator. Oftentimes that's when those two fields match. That's what it is. The fact that you got the call back and they said they're not a personal rep could mean that we might have a researcher may have done some bad data entry. Just to be sure, what I'd like to do is track that down for you and get an answer from the actual researcher, like to check their homework. So if you could, please email support@alltheleads and reference the date of the list. So if it's like the January 18th, the date of the file that we gave you.
Okay.
And just say, hey, I was on the Mastermind call and Chad said to, check the researcher on these leads. That's not common. The most commonly, it is an actual public administrator or fiduciary. So if there's mistakes in your data,
Uh-oh. Chad's on the road today. I think we just lost you, Chad. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I said if it is a mistake in the data, we'll...
Go ahead. We can hear you now.
Jim, can you hear me?
Now we can, Chad. Go ahead.
Anyway, it's not common that happens. It usually is a public administrator. But if it is a data mistake, we will track that down and make it right for you.
Okay, very good. Very good. Thank you.
And I just wanted to add to that, we have one of our most successful agents in the country in Southern California I think he did nearly $1 million or just over $1 million in probate commissions last year. And he actually looked for leads where the executor and the attorney were one and the same. And he realized those were cases where people died without wills and the court had appointed a administrator to administrate the estate. And he went after those people because typically those are professional administrators. So if you get a hold of one of those, if you see the attorney and the administrator are one and the same, it's probably someone who specializes and gets appointed on a regular basis from the court to do estates. So, and what Bill Bird did was, I don't know how many of them. I think he made friends with 4 or 5 of them, and every time they get a new case now, they call him. So he got a really tremendous amount of traction from specializing with those people. And the nice thing with those people, it's less emotional than dealing with a homeowner because it's a business for them. It's a business decision. They have to represent the interests of the estate, but they do it in a much more business-like fashion, and they tend to be even easier to deal with than the the family members who lost a loved one. So don't ignore those. It can be very often when you call that person, it is going to be the public administrator, and if it isn't, like Chad said, just let us know and we'll check it. We'll check it for you.
Okay.
I want to build on that, Jim. Like in California, there are actually professional networking groups for fiduciaries, and that's just it's a different term for public administrator. But what some of our clients have been successful with is actually paying the dues to be part of that professional organization, to be part of the fiduciary group. And I don't know how many markets that exist in, but it is very common in California. So, Kay, you might look in here in Virginia, there's kind of an express lane for probate, so it's pretty informal. In California, it's very complicated, but they actually have groups that get together once a month and meet. And you can gain a lot of traction in those groups by finding ways to bring value to the fiduciaries.
Okay, great.
All right. Thank you very much for sharing. We have 2 more in the queue. And next up is phone number ending in 2019. You're up next.
Yes. If this is Lola Carey calling from Texas, Dallas, Texas. Anyways, if you call a person after your IAS called the person and they told you to call at 6:00 p.m. and you call at 6 p.m. and they say, "I'll call you back. Don't call me. I'll call you back." What's the limit time would you suggest that I give them a call back? Because most likely she's not going to call me back.
So you're saying that the ISA, one of our ISAs that's making the calls for you, scheduled a specific appointment for you for 6 p.m.?
Yes.
And when you called at 6, they said it wasn't a good time.
Right. They just said, "I'll call you back." They didn't even let me finish my conversation. When I told them that who I was,
Sure.
I said, "This is Lola Carey. You had made arrangements for me to call you at 6 p.m. I'm returning your call, and I'm calling to see how can I help you." And she said,
"Okay.
Oh, just call me back."
Okay. Chad?
But she didn't give me no, she said,
Yeah.
"I'll call you back. Don't call me. I'll call you back."
Okay.
So my question to you is, when do I call her back? Because most likely she's not going to call me back.
Right after this call, like as soon as you get off the call today. I mean,
Call her back?
Heck yeah, call her back. I mean, you had an appointment with her. You never know what was going on in her life. I mean, her kids could have been, could have just dumped a bucket of paint on the couch and set the cat on fire, and that's what was going on in her life. Like, don't take it personally. Like, she may have just been overwhelmed at the time, and just call back and say, "Hey, listen, I know life can get crazy. Is this a good time to talk? I just wanted to see if I could reschedule our appointment." And call back with just you tell her, "Oh, I just called to see if we can reschedule." And then if she engages in the conversation, go on and do your thing. But don't assume that it was, I don't know, just don't take it personal. Just anything could have been going on in their life, and don't be afraid to call back. And maybe a competitor got to her, and maybe you lost it, but maybe she was just having a bad evening at 6 o'clock. A lot can be going on in a family's home, right? So call back this afternoon and just try to reschedule.
Oh, okay then.
I'll give you a good incentive to do that. We had one of our agents that the ISA scheduled a call for him to call back, and he didn't notice it until the next day, and he called back late the next day, and the seller had 20 properties they had listed earlier that morning with another agent. So don't ever be. I mean, he lost 20 listings, so he kind of learned the hard way. Boy, when you have an appointment, call on time like you did, and don't be afraid to call back again. And I think one thing Chad said there is really good. I start a lot of my conversations that way. Hey, you know, I know you're probably busy. Did I catch you at a good time? This will only take a couple minutes. You know, first of all, start out by telling them you're not going to take out much of you're not going to take up a lot of their time, and give permission to go ahead and talk to them. You know, instead, if you go right into your pitch and they're not completely sold or they're preoccupied, you know, they're going to cut you off again. But if you start off by saying, hey, it'll only take a couple minutes, did I catch you at a good time? You know, and you get their permission, then they're probably going to hear you out this time. And I would definitely call again and let us know next week how you did, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you for participating. We have two more in the queue. Next up is phone number ending in 1977. You're up next.
Hello, can you hear me?
Can hear you great.
All right, great. This is Devin Cobb in Palm Beach County, Florida. I want to start by thank you for the tip about the representatives having the same address as the attorney. Didn't really know that before, but I'm definitely going to look into that. I just signed up last week, and I'm already sitting on about 325 leads here. So I haven't finished sorting through everything and completed all the training yet. So if this part's already been covered, I apologize, but I did want to know, what does it mean if the representative that's listed is either a bank or like a long-term care facility, or also if there's no attorney listed?
Good questions.
So, two different scenarios. If you have a bank or a nursing home or a financial advisor or something like that, typically that means that the family, you know, whoever in the will, they name somebody as the personal representative. The reason that can be beneficial to you because it's not a real emotional thing for that personal representative. You know, if they weren't the spouse or the daughter or the son, for them it's kind of a business settlement, right? So they committed to do this for somebody, a past client or somebody that was in their facility, and they just need to get it done. There's no emotional attachment. So they can really see a lot of value in what you do, because if they don't have to go to the house, if you can get the house cleaned out and get it sold for the most amount of money and handle everything between A and B, they're going to see a ton of value in that service. So, but what those are public administrators, and you definitely want to reach out to them. It can sometimes, like I had several that were banks, and frankly, I never had a bank call me back, but I still sent the mail and the phone calls every time just to see what, you know, to try. But usually if it's an individual, it's a lot easier. If it's an attorney or, you know, I mean, we've seen all kinds of stuff. And then the second part of your question slipped my mind. So you asked about that, and
if there's no attorney.
If there's no attorney,
I don't know if everybody else is having trouble, but I'm having trouble hearing you. The person who's answering, I'm having trouble hearing you.
Yeah, Chad's on the road today, so sorry about that. You got to listen a little more carefully than usual. I'll
about pro se.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you heard what he just said, basically, that it's probably they didn't have a family member that they trusted or that was willing to be the personal executive, so they appointed a trusted financial advisor, their banker, somebody like that, and that person is going to have much less emotional attachment to it. They're usually very easy to deal with. And then the second part, typically if there's no attorney, it means in a lot of times it'll have in that column it'll either be nothing or it'll say pro se, which means on my own, and that just means that the executor contacted the court and filed the probate without an attorney. And that's not common, but in some markets, up to 15 or 20% of them do it that way. They don't have an attorney. Now that is, I'm not going to say it's easier because, you know, you're going to have to probably be more helpful to them than if they have an attorney, but it's also an opportunity to possibly sell them on the value of getting an attorney and referring them to an attorney in exchange for getting referrals from the attorney. So In my take on it, what we've heard so far, typically, eventually they probably will get an attorney. They just filed it before they had one. Do you understand it that way too, Chad? That very few of them complete the entire process without an attorney. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think a lot of people think they can do it, and then when they realize they're in over their head, then they hire an attorney. And that's what, so Todd Waples, we started our call last week with him. He's in Southern California. And what he's finding is almost 20% of his list is pro se. There's no attorney. But what he's also finding is when he makes contact with those people, they're thoroughly overwhelmed and they really want help. So what he's doing is he's engaging with them and immediately finding ways to help them. And then he's turning that into a referral to the top probate attorneys that he's trying to build a relationship with. So he's getting the relationship with the PR, and then he's using that to make a referral to create a referral network out of the attorneys. But that's kind of been his experience. Like the ones that didn't have attorneys were thoroughly overwhelmed in California.
Okay. Yeah, because I just looked at my data, and it looks like about 25% of the leads that I have are not with an attorney.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's on the high side, but that's certainly reasonable. That doesn't mean they won't eventually hire an attorney, but like Chad said, take that list and get their permission when you talk to them, get their permission to refer them to an attorney and exchange that with the attorney for future referrals. That can be really valuable. And when you said you're getting 325 leads, I know the first lady that got 32 is probably a little jealous. So the good news is in your market, I mean, you could have a 1%. It's like we have a gentleman in New York City gets 300 leads a month and he only converts 1%, but he did $1 million in commissions last year. It doesn't.
Yeah,
you don't have to have a high conversion rate to have it make a lot of sense.
Yeah, fortunately and unfortunately, I live where people make their last stop. So it's
yep. South Florida is the final resting place. Absolutely. Yeah. So, man, I would start right away. Go find a couple, 3, 4 attorneys and say, I'm a probate expert, and when I'm doing my prospecting every month, I notice like 25% of these people don't have attorneys. Would you mind if I referred some of them to you? How many of them are going to say no? That could be a real good door opener. Get your feet in and say, so in an exchange, would you be willing to refer your clients that don't have a realtor to me? I mean, that's a win-win relationship, and it's a good opportunity to get your foot in the door with the attorneys.
Hey, I want to share an idea. I'd kind of forgotten about this. It was on a private call, but I was helping one of our subscribers come up with ideas on how to crack into this and both help the personal representative but also build an attorney network. One of the ideas that I gave him, and he probably has finished by now, if you co-brand a probate checklist with the probate attorney, so figure out who the top probate attorneys are in your market and go out and say, listen, I've got 325 leads and at least, 60 or like 75 of these don't have attorneys. Would you like to help me make a probate checklist of all the responsibilities that need to be everything that needs to be handled and what they're responsible for? And in red, put what an attorney normally does, and in green, put what the personal representative normally does. And it's kind of a visual representation of all the responsibility they have. And you let the attorney put their phone number on it, and then you put your branding on it. And you can send that with the initial letter, or you can save it for a follow-up piece after the initial conversation. But it's a kind of a visual of, look what you're getting yourself into. Here are 2 people that can help you. This attorney can help you do 10%, and I'll help you with the other 90%. But anyways, it's just a marketing idea that's around this conversation that I shared with him, and I think it'll work really well. We haven't really proofed it out yet. But if you guys are finding that, like, think about talking to those attorneys about co-branding on a and make it something that's valuable to the personal representative, like a checklist. So they literally go down in chronological order what everything that needs to be done, and then color code what the attorney normally does, and say, if you want somebody to handle this, it's just as simple as calling the number on the bottom of the page, and he can represent you. And I think any attorney in their right mind is going to take that. They're going to say yes to that because you're just out marketing for them, right?
Yep.
Got it? You still there, Walter?
Yeah, I got it. Sorry, I didn't know if
okay.
I was still on mute or not.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. All right, well, hopefully that helps. And anything else we can help you with today?
I think that's it. Thank you. You guys have been very helpful.
Thank you very much. We have 3 more in the queue. Phone number ending in 0313. You're up next.
Hello there. This is Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Hi. I hope you can understand me. I've been ill. But I wanted to add some positive energy to the first gal that was on the call.
Thank you.
And I wanted to let her know that I have called, I've been a major prospector my whole life and made lots of phone calls my whole life, and I'm used to being hung up on and, all that kind of stuff, calling expireds. I'm in Southern California that is extremely competitive, and I do not get many leads. It's a small group, and most do not answer the phone. So I understand how you feel, and I felt the same way. And I found when I kept plugging away, I had success. So it's not signed yet, but I think I'm going to have my first listing. So I was getting the same thing with the hanging up, and I have an attorney, and I was thinking, screw this. I mean, I can just, do expireds and get, same kind of thing. Why would I pay for this? And, I just, again, there's not many leads, so I'm not even talking to very many people. And then, the hanging up thing was, of course, I think pretty standard in doing this. And then there's also that part where you just kind of feel weird because you're calling people that, their spouse just died or their child died or whatever it is. So that was weird for me also. But I just, kept the personal representative that is going to list with me. She's out of state. And I just kept offering things to help. And, I started with the insurance thing, and she did have insurance, so that was good. And, I just kept going with, what can I take off your plate? You're so far away, and how can I help? And then eventually, she sent me an email. I really want to talk. And so now she's ready to list. So I'm not jinxing it, I don't think, because it's not signed yet, but I'm 99.9% sure that I am getting my first listing. So don't be frustrated. It's not easy, and especially when you don't get a lot of leads and you're in a really competitive place. Oh, and this woman told me that she gets 10 letters a day. I don't know if she's exaggerating, but that's what she told me. Because when I started with the, did you get my letter? She's like, are you kidding me? She's like, do you know how many letters I get a day? So, there's still hope. It's just, I think it's a numbers game. And, it's hard when you're not getting a lot of leads, but I don't think it matters if you just keep plugging away.
Boy, well said. And what will be the price of the listing that you're getting?
About $750.
About $750. So
the
great.
Fun part I loved, I have to add. So she said, "What's your commission?" And I said, and here in Southern California, I mean, it's all 5%, but I still try to get 6%. So I said 6%, and she said, "You know what? It's interesting." She said everybody else I talked to was 5% and 4%. And I said, yeah, because they're desperate, because there's not a lot of business going on, and they're not going to represent your interest. We had the whole conversation about all that. And she said, yeah. She said, I thought it was really strange that they were willing to do it for such low commissions. Do you think they'd like negotiating the sale of your home if they're giving up commission like that? And so, she's
always
finding it at 6%.
Good. Oh, that is awesome. I always love the line, if they don't value their own services, how strong are they going to be in fighting for you and the price that we set on your home? And, just your language there with the feel, felt, and the found and the confidence in your voice, I appreciate it. You're going to do very well with this. How many leads do you get per month?
well, I've only been doing it for 2 or 3 months, I guess. In the first month, I think I got something like 35.
Okay.
And then I think the next one, I have to look. I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't think I've ever had more than 50 or 60 maybe. So there's not a lot. And then when you go through, believe it or not, I mean, and they say not to, screen them out too much, but some of them are sold and some of them are listed. So those are the only ones. I don't really want to call ones that are listed. I know we should call the ones that are sold, but I mean, when you're not getting a lot, and then the ones that don't even have property and this and that. But I think the concept of there's so many ways I can help you. I mean, that's just where I've been going with this. There's so
good for you.
And it's just the truth. I mean, my gosh, when they're on the other side of the country and I'm in Southern California and they've got a house full of furniture, I mean, I don't think they want to be getting on a plane every 5 minutes to, dealing with all this stuff. So I think they're really happy to have somebody that's saying, I'll just take care of this,
Well, very well said. I was just doing the math here. You probably had 100 leads and you managed to convert 1% of them. You probably spent $1,000 and you're going to get about a $20,000 commission check. Pretty good return on your investment.
Yeah, and the honest truth is $750 is low in my area. It's an attached house that's kind of, I know you guys have probably never heard of it. It's kind of like a condo. So that's on the low end as far as price here.
I can hear our agents in Iowa feeling really sorry for you that $750 is on the low end. But good.
But the commissions are people. I mean, will do it for nothing here. I mean.
Oh, sure. Good for you.
Time.
Chad, you had a comment?
I was just going to say, my numbers in Roanoke, I spent $1,100 at a 6% conversion to make $21,000. So you have to do 6 times less work than I did.
Yeah, but is it as competitive?
Yeah. No, thank you very much. You really did put a positive spin on it, and I'm sure you encouraged the First Lady. So congratulations, and keep up the good work, and keep coming back and telling us when you have a success.
Thank you.
And you get a gold star, and she gets a gold star for using Phil Found during the call.
Yeah, I picked up on that right away. Good job. You're well trained. All right, we have 3 more in the queue, guys. You guys keep on coming, and we're going to keep helping you. Phone number 2818. You're up next.
Yes, good morning, guys. It's morning where I'm at. This is Anthony, and I'm newer to the group and have some questions. I'm trying to get started up and everything. Don't have any leads yet. Those are coming soon. But support around me as far as like clean outs and estates, people who do the estate sales, things like that. Getting these people, so let's just say like clean outs, a clean out service or something. Is this something that you guys are offering as part of your service and you're paying for, recouping the cost at the sale, or how's that going?
No, and Chad, I'll answer because I know you're traveling. They can probably hear me better. No, this is not like an REO where you have to handle everything. It's you. If you listen to the Chad's training videos, we'll tell you how to find the people. We provide a national website for estate sale companies. There's 1-800-GOT-JUNK. It's not hard to find the local contractors, but it's really no different than on a standard transaction. You're going to have a mortgage broker, a title company, a termite company, a roofer, an inspection company that you trust that you're going to recommend to the people. This is the same thing. You're just finding local contractors that can specifically help them with their extra needs, be an absentee owner and estate, and you're just recommending good people to them that you trust. So but you're not collecting. It's not like an REO where you collect the money and that's the relationship between them and the vendor. You're just making the introduction like you would on a regular transaction. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Now, let's say a situation where they just inherited this house and they're dirt poor and they don't really have any money and they're maybe out of state or whatever. Some of these contractors, kind of like the home warranty companies, where they'll go ahead and do whatever and then they'll get their payment.
Yeah. Now almost all of the estate sale companies, and matter of fact, we have a national estate sale company. It's one of our subscribers. I think they're getting about 20 counties now. Almost all the estate sale companies will do it for a percentage of what they sell the valuables for. So they don't have to come out of pocket with that. The clean out crews, you're probably going to have to pay them, but it's not terribly expensive. And a lot of the estate sale companies, as part of their service, when they're done, they'll either do a yard sale or they'll donate whatever is left to charity. So, all you maybe would want to do to get the house in sellable condition is send a cleaning crew out there to clean it, which isn't terribly expensive. As far as the contractors, most of the contractors want to be paid when the work is done, but we have had dozens of agents that found a local contractor that was willing to do 90 days, same as cash, as long as they send the bill to the title company and they know they're going to get paid. And a lot of them are willing to work, on a pay me at closing if they're convinced that you're going to send them a lot of business. So that might require a little bit of more searching to find that person. But they are out there and they are, they are available. It's not as much the norm as it is for the other services.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Two more in the queue. Next up is phone number ending in 4574. You're up next.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am, you're up.
Oh, I didn't know you could hear me. Yeah, I'm new on a call. I've been listening to it for like months. I want to know what do this cost, and can we do it as a team? Because I have a team in my real estate.
Sure. Yeah, you can do it as a team. We have a lot of teams that work together. And just send me an email, or as soon as this call's over, give me a call. Send in because every county is different. The pricing really depends on the number of hours it takes us to go retrieve the data at the courthouse. So every county is different. But send me an email, Jim@alltheleads.com, or as soon as Jim@alltheleads.com. Or call me right after the call. My direct number is 954-281-4264.
Okay, I'm going to call you after the call.
Okay, perfect. And last up today, guys, we're going to end right at an hour. Last up is phone number ending in 7522. You're up next.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just spoke with a gentleman this morning about your service, so this is my very first time on the call. My name is Bridget, and I'm speaking to you from Michigan. I wanted to share a little something really quickly with the First Lady and with all of you. In my former life, before I became a realtor, I was a senior insurance adjuster. So attorneys school their clients. They school their clients as to the phone calls, who they're going to get them potentially from, and they almost pretty much train them. So develop a very, very thick skin, including with attorneys, because a lot of times attorneys will yell and scream, kind of like the big bad wolf, and if you back down and hang up, they know they won. Stand your ground, make it brief, let them know that the service that you offer. Also, when you're calling families that just lost a loved one, start out, keep in mind, put yourself in their shoes. Would you want to talk to somebody and you just lost someone and you're still trying to find your head? Start out with an apology and then offer your value. So it's that old saying, it's not what you say, it's how you say it and how you spin it to offer that value. And I just thought I'd share that.
Very well said. Thank you. And, even taking everything you said into account, it was my experience and most of us that the majority of the people, typically it's about 90 days from the date of death until the time the probate's filed. So, it's not like it happened last week, and sure, they're still grieving, but they've gotten past the grief enough to go hire an attorney and make the business decision that they need to deal with this. And typically you're reaching out to the oldest kid who's 1,000 miles away, that's got a life of their own, and a sibling or two that are looking at them to get this done. So, a lot of them do receive you with, oh, great, I finally have somebody local that can help. And the ones that don't, the quicker you can let them know that. The only thing, and I'll just ask your opinion on this. When I tested this, I used to say, I'm sorry for your loss. And I had a guy one time say, well, don't be. Dying was the best thing that SOB ever did. And I kind of laughed and said, well, then congratulations. He sort of laughed. He sort of laughed too. He said, you've got a sense of humor. But I found it a little insincere to say sorry for your loss because you're not really sorry. You don't know them. So I changed it to, I'm sure this is a very difficult time for your family, and that, acknowledge their loss and have empathy for them. And then I would go into, and that's why I'm doing this, and I put together a whole team of people to help you. Is that kind of, yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
From my end, I lost my dad 3 years ago. So
sure.
I understand exactly what you're saying. People came to me at the loss of my dad and said, I'm sorry. And I looked through them like they weren't even standing there because you don't know my pain. So one of the things that in my work, that in my former life, in my work, what I did was I shared that story with people. I started out when I said, I'm sorry for your loss. And I said, I understand your pain. I lost my dad, blah, 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 blah. I know how painful it is. And I understand your point that is 90 days out. It took me a full year to get over that loss. So sometimes even 90 days out, they're still feeling it. So it still offers that empathy. And if you've had an experience, whether it's a loss of a parent, a loss of a grandparent, use that because you've dealt with that pain. You know what it's like. You've been through it. And people have a tendency to connect with you a little better if you've walked that road. So you do truly understand what all goes into it.
Very well said. You're going to do great with this. Thank you. Chad?
Yeah, you are going to do great. A couple things I want to say is I'm glad Jim stepped up and said that, and in no way are we challenging you. What we find is empathy is everything, and sympathy usually elicits defense, right? So when people exactly like you said, people are kind of like, well, what the hell are you sorry about? You didn't know who it was, But with empathy, and the joke that I made with Amy, since you're new to these calls, we teach feel, felt, found. So I understand how you feel. Most of the clients I've worked with have felt that way, what they found, and so you kind of walk them into it that way. But empathy is of utmost importance. The other thing, I want to underscore what you said. You said it's more important. It's not what you say is not nearly as important as how you say it. And the caller from earlier, what I said to her, it's probably her fault. Well, I learned this myself before I became confident and excited about doing this, and kind of reinforced to myself that I was doing the right things for the right reasons. That was coming through on the phone, and I wasn't nearly as effective. And most of the people that I coach that fail or ultimately just quit, it's because they never get confident in their offer. They don't actually trust themselves. They don't trust what they're saying. And that comes through in the letters you write, the phone calls you make. And that's why we start Probate Fast Track with get clear on your why. But anyways, I just wanted to kind of underscore that. And you sound extremely confident and like you're here to serve. I can hear that in your voice. And I just want other people to pay attention to that and pay attention to your own language on the phone. Like, even if you have to put a mirror on your desk, make sure you're in the right state. Get in that empathetic state and be excited about helping this person. And all of your phone calls will change, I promise you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. That would be a great way to end the call, but we do have one more person, and we are going to end it after this one. Phone number ending in 1660. You're up last this week.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. I kept hitting the darn buttons. It was going wrong. But anyway, just not really a question. I've got a question, but I'll call service. I do have a comment to the gentleman that was looking for a service that would do liquidations or estate sales, etc. AuctionZip.com carries pretty much almost every auctioneer in the United States. It used to be a free service. It costs us like $10 now to put a list on. And so if you want to find a local auctioneer who is licensed and bonded in almost every state in the United States, I think there's a few states still holding out, but AuctionZip.com is a good place to go find somebody that does estate sales and liquidations.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. Well, thank you guys. Great call, and we're exactly an hour, so we're right on time. Also, I really want to thank all of you for showing up today. You took an hour out of your lives to be here. Thank you so much to everyone who actively participated. And I always end these calls the same way by saying you took the time to be here. I challenge each and every one of you to take one thought, one idea, one thing that inspired you on this call, go out and put it into action, and come back the same time next week and share it with the group. Make it a great week, guys, and we will talk to you same time next Thursday. Take care.